Hello and welcome to our Sustainability Matters webinar. This is our fourth Sustainability Matters, and this year we've had to move it online, care of COVID-19, but we're really excited to have you with us. Today's theme and topic is solar and energy efficiency. It's a great topic. There's so much opportunity to reduce costs and reduce greenhouse emissions by taking action in both these areas. So we're delighted to have you with us today. My name's Emma Hopkins. I'm the Sustainable Business Officer at Darebin Council, and I'll be facilitating today's session. So Sustainability Matters, as I said, has been running for 4 years, and our tradition in Sustainability Matters is to bring you the stories of businesses who are really taking the lead in sustainability and bring those stories to you and let you learn about what they're doing and give them the opportunity to share the actions that they've taken, the outcomes that they've achieved, and the great benefits that they've seen, as well as the challenges that they've faced. So that's what we're going to hear about today. It's a chance for you to be interactive with these businesses. So we're really encouraging you to ask your questions and put your questions to them. You'll see in our webinar platform, Big Barker, you've got a few options that you should see on your screen in the top right-hand corner. There's the chat, there's the Q&A and the polls. And I encourage you to use these. So the chat's a chance for you to chat with each other. The Q&A is where we want you to put your questions to presenters. And you'll notice with the Q&A, there's an upvoting function for the questions. So if someone else posts a question that you really want answered, please upvote that question so we can make sure it goes to the top and gets priority. There's also polls, and we'll really be encouraging you to do these and participate. Gives us a chance to find out what our audience is and where you're up to, who you are, and better cater for how we can run these sessions. And please be patient with us. This is our first webinar. As many of us have experience in COVID-19, we've had to move a lot of things online. We've had to do a lot of adaptation, a lot of changes, and embrace a lot of new technologies. So things don't always go according to plan, and I ask for your patience if things don't today. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it will, and we'll have a great experience. Just a housekeeping thing. We've got about 90 people with us today, so your cameras and microphones are turned off in order for us to be able to focus on the businesses that are going to be sharing their stories and the content that we've got ready to play for you today. And once again, I'll be reiterating this a number of times. Please, today is as much about your questions that you can put to the presenters and the businesses that are going to speak. So please use the Q&A function and please upvote other people's questions that you also want answered. I'll hand over now to our Mayor, Mayor Rennie, who will do a formal welcome and acknowledgement of country. Thank you, Mayor Rennie.
Thanks so much, Emma. Nyama, Wawandjeri Woyoangulin, Guanganinu Bik Wenoap Darabandari, Nyawiana Nyanga Bik Ban Ba Nyagu, Gagukal Nangit Bambu Thielingbu Ba Gamaji. I acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people on whose land Darebin stands. I recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And it's always particularly fitting, I think, at forums like this to make that acknowledgement, because really one of the things we're on about today is how we look after our land, this land which is and always has been Aboriginal land. Welcome to Sustainability Matters. It's an annual event that brings inspiring and exciting stories and experiences of local sustainable businesses leaders in our community. The theme for today's webinar is solar and energy efficiency, and I would particularly like to acknowledge the generous support of the state government for the event and for the Sustainability Matters webinar series. Darebin was the first council in the world to declare a climate emergency. As part of this declaration, we have been taking action to reduce CO2 emissions from council operations in our community, and also to advocate for more to be done by all levels of government and peak organisations. Darebin's Light Smart program is working to help businesses and organisations reduce their CO2 emissions. Light Smart helps businesses and organisations to install LED lights upfront lights at no upfront cost, and currently most Darebin businesses are able to get an LED upgrade free. The program provides fantastic opportunities for businesses to both reduce their ongoing energy costs, something that's particularly critical at this point, as well as reducing their CO2 emissions. We know that many businesses and organisations have been severely impacted on by the COVID-19 global crisis. We announced our $11.3 million COVID-19 community and business support package, which includes initiatives designed to support and work with you to help make your business as resilient as it can be through the challenges we are facing. And this webinar is part of a larger business webinar series we are rolling out to help guide and support businesses through our support package. We have a business support hotline, business grants, and we waived and suspended a number of business fees, as well as opening up our Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, to the owners and employees of all businesses in Darebin. To find out more information about our support package, I really encourage you to go to our website, www.darebin.vic.gov.au, or call our business support line by calling 8470 8888 and asking for business support. Lastly, today is World Environment Day, a time to stop and reflect on this amazing planet and all the environmental services that it offers us and that we depend so deeply upon. Planet Earth cleans our air, our water, provides us with food, shelter, biodiversity, abundant life, and so many treasured and beautiful places to share and enjoy. So happy World Environment Day. Let's continue to treasure, protect, and enhance what we have. And I hope you all really very much enjoy this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Rennie. I would like to reiterate what Mayor Rennie said about World Environment Day. Prior to this webinar, I went for a walk on the Merri Creek and I thought, this is what I love about life, being out in the sunshine, in nature, and enjoying this beautiful planet that we live on. I'm going to move on now to just give a quick run through about what we'll be seeing today on screen. So first of all, we're going to have some stories of some of our leading local businesses shared with you via video. So they'll be played. We'll have X Cuisine, Showworks, A Little Light, Charles Sanford and McKay Joinery, and we'll also be hearing from Charlie later. We're then going to hear from Georgia Rose, who's business manager at the Enviro Shop. And following on from a short presentation from Georgia, it's your chance to have a Q&A session with Georgia. So again, please use the Q&A function, put your questions in there, type them in, upvote the ones that you want answered, and we'll be able to put them to Georgia. Following on from hearing from Georgia, we'll watch a little bit more video footage from Charlie, a longer story about his business, and then you'll have a chance to put questions to Charlie. Again, use the Q&A function and upvote those questions that you want answered. I'll give a quick overview of our Light Smart program, which the Mayor has mentioned, and just touch on a couple of other things at the end. And then we'd love you to fill in our evaluation survey, which will pop up at the very end of this webinar. So please don't leave, fill that in, give us feedback, and let us learn how we can improve these sessions for you. We've got 2 more Sustainability Matters webinars happening, so we've got a good chance to put into action your ideas and suggestions. Before we go on to this first short video I've mentioned, we've got a couple of polls, and please, if you can fill them in, that would be great. I know today with us we've got members from our business community and our residential community, and we'd really like to know who you are and where you're from, and to find out a little bit more about some of the actions you've already taken in regard to solar and energy efficiency. So our first poll is up now, and if you can tell us if you own or run a business or organisation in Darebin, if you work for a business or organisation in Darebin, or you did prior to COVID-19, if you live in Darebin, if you work in Darebin, or none of the above. We've got our second poll now. Actually, sorry. And our second poll is if you can tell us if you have solar electricity, that's solar PV at home, solar electricity, solar PV at work, if you have LED lights at home, if you have LED lights at work, if you are an all-electric home and you've moved off gas, or you weren't ever on gas, and if you are an all-electric business, or you've moved off gas, or you also weren't ever on it. So I'm just having a look at the poll results now. We can see quite a lot of you work in Darebin or live in Darebin and work or own a business in Darebin, which is great. We can also see quite a few of you have solar electricity at home. Quite a few have solar electricity at work, but not quite as many. And many of you have LED lights at home, which is fantastic. Lesser of you have LED lights at work. There's some of you on an all-electric home. Congratulations. And some of you in an all-electric business. Congratulations. Okay, great. Thank you very much for doing those polls. We really appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on now to hear from some of our businesses by watching this video on solar and energy efficiency and what businesses in Darebin are doing.
We make fantastic quality, delicious dairy desserts here. We've been doing it for the last 30 years and have moved to the city of Darebin 14 years ago.
I'm Charlie Sanford and I run this show called Charles Sanford Wood Turning and Joinery, which also incorporates Mackay Joinery. We've got probably 25 to 30 people working here at any one time.
My name's Tim Blakey. I'm Managing Director of Showworks. We build stuff, everything from theatre scenery to museum and gallery installations. We do the Moomba Parade and we also do dance equipment. We've been based in Preston for about 25 years.
My name's Jo from Little Light Candles. I make handmade candles which are very sculptural and textural. I've been running my business for 18 years and I've now run my business as a home-based studio and online shop from Reservoir for the last 5 years.
We are undertaking a lot of measures to improve our energy consumption. We have a dedicated engineering and maintenance team which really does help work in the field of sustainability. In 2014 we installed an 80 kilowatt solar system on our roof which pretty much immediately reduced our electricity consumption by 20%. Just recently we installed another 70 kilowatt system.
I believe that we should be reducing our impact on the environment, but the benefits are economic as well. I've got a lot to thank the Darebin Council for because they made me aware of the Green Light program. Through that, we've gone on to put solar power on our roof, so that immediately reduced our energy costs by a third.
With our solar panels, we feel like within 3 years we will be cash positive with the installation of it, and the rest is just money in our pocket.
When we put it on, it was 7-year payoff, which is not long. It ticks over pretty quick. And I think that the rate that the power bills have gone up, that 7 years is probably more likely 5, which just makes great economic sense.
Really, electricity is my biggest usage, and in the past one of the biggest mistakes I made was not actually analysing that usage and looking at the cost benefit of solar. When I rented a shop, I was paying over $3,000 a year in electricity, which over 7 years is 21 grand, and I should have done the sums and looked at installing solar panels, even if it was only for that 7 years. So that's something we've really intentionally looked into and fixed. We currently have a 4.5 kilowatt solar system on our house. We're looking at putting another 5 kilowatts on my workshop.
We also, through the City of Darebin Light Smart program, got LED lights put in throughout our whole facility.
We found even in the first year that we were noticing significant, 20% reduction in our power just by swapping from the old format that we had to LED.
All the lighting in our warehouse is on individual sensors, which not only sense movement and turn on, but they also dim or brighten. Our warehouse uses very, very little energy. It's almost next to nothing.
We put on soft start motors on our new compressor, so it cost us 4 or 5 grand more, but it's easily paid itself off now in saved power.
An added bonus of our CO2 refrigeration plant is that we capture the heat that is emitted from the refrigeration, and we use that to heat and cool our offices.
We've got some big ticket items and some small ticket items. We've got a soft drink machine, and of course that's running all the time. But it doesn't have to run all the time because we don't drink soft drinks in the middle of the night. So we've put a timer on the power outlet, and it means that the machine turns itself off from 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So even those little things make a big difference.
My business didn't come from an attitude of doing everything sustainably or perfect for the environment. It wasn't really on my radar when I started. So we've had to make changes in our processes along the way. If you're starting from scratch, you can really consciously think about these things from the start and not have to make such drastic changes.
So if I was starting out afresh on this, I would really recommend do your numbers, work it out. You'll find that 9 times out of 10, it really makes sense anyway. But double check that your figures add up and then go for it. Start small, do the little things first and work your way up to the bigger ones, because they're all just as valuable along the way. And they become a sum of its parts. You look at what you've done and you think, well, we've done that, and we've done that, and we've done that.
It wasn't until I worked with the council that I realised that all the little decisions we've been making for so many years have actually started to add up and I guess become an overarching philosophy.
I hope you found that video inspiring. I certainly have found it very inspiring working with those businesses. So the businesses again that we heard from there are X Cuisine, Showworks, A Little Light, and Charles Sanford and McKay Joinery. And Charlie will be hearing from later. But if you want to find out more about those other businesses, you can see a full video on them on our Sustainable Business playlist, which is on the City of Darebin YouTube page. I'd also like to highlight one of the things that was really striking for me. The X Cuisine talked about their CO2 refrigeration, and in a great book called Drawdown, the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming, which I can highly recommend, I was amazed to learn that refrigerative gases actually can be some of the most potent greenhouse gases, up to 10,000 times more potent than CO2. And by switching to things like CO2 refrigeration, really can make a huge impact, and CO2 heat pumps. So that was an eye-opening opportunity for me, and also an amazing thing that X Cuisine did, and one of the first in Australia to make that switch. So energy efficiency really can lead to some amazing environmental improvements, plus obviously some amazing cost savings. And on that note, I'm now going to introduce Georgia Rose's slideshow and presentation, and she's going to share with us some of the things that the EnviroShop has been doing in order to be more sustainable. And for those of you that don't know, the EnviroShop is located in Northcote. It's a great resource, a great place to go if you're looking to make your home or business more environmentally sustainable. They have a whole suite of products there to help you.
Hello, my name's Georgia. I'll be speaking on behalf of the EnviroShop Northcote. We specialise in supplying goods and services to help reduce your waste, save energy, reduce your toxins in your home and your business. Our product ranges cover energy-saving items such as heat pump hot water, insulation, draft proofing and LED lighting, low toxicity products such as natural paints and sealers, personal care, home cleaning products and office products designed to help reduce your waste. Today, I'd like to talk to you about some things we do in the shop to help our environmental impact and increase our resilience to climate change, which will hopefully help inspire you too. The owner of EnviroShop, Mick Harris, also runs Enviro Group, which provide solar and battery systems. They played a significant role in the Darebin Solar Savers program and installed our solar power and battery system in the EnviroShop. We've always had a small PV system to help offset our power use, but Mick recently installed a redback system and upgraded our PV system to a 2.3 kilowatt. We have limited roof space, so we can't install a larger system, but we also don't use very much energy. The redback battery system includes a solar inverter, batteries, and an intelligent control system. It helps us use more of our solar energy by storing the excess usually generated in the middle of the day, but also provides us with a crucial backup system. Like many other businesses these days, we're largely cloud-based, and our inventory and sales systems and even our phone operating system is run over the internet. If the power goes down, we can't sell anything. The backup battery automatically cuts in during the blackout and allows us to keep trading for as long as the battery lasts. They can last up to a few hours if we turn off non-crucial items such as your heating and your aircon and shut off a few of the display lights. We think this backup system will be increasingly important as the impacts of climate change start to bite and our power grid becomes less reliable. Apart from running the shop off solar power, we do a number of things to help reduce our carbon footprint. The shop is fitted with LED lights, 2 solar skylights, which is a ready light in the main shop and an illume in the small storeroom. They run off their own solar panels and react to changing sun conditions, such as just like a normal skylight would, without letting in summer heat or losing the heat in winter. We use a split system for heating and cooling in the shop, which is by far the most efficient option. We also use laptops instead of desktops for their lower power usage. We have 2 compost tumblers out the back that we share with our neighbours. Although we personally produce very little food waste, we find it comes in handy to put waste in there that would otherwise be going into landfill. It also provides a good opportunity to experiment with some products that claim to be compostable. The last couple of months, we've had to make some adjustments due to the COVID-19. Firstly, like many other businesses, we've had to reduce our shifts and minimise our hours. We noticed a significant drop in customer walk-ins, so temporarily had to close the shop in April for just over a week. However, we did notice our web orders increased by about 80%, and we got a lot of interest in paints and natural oil sealers and draft proofing products. I think it's fair to assume that considering everybody was in lockdown and stuck at home, they were able to get around to some doing some home chores that they otherwise would not have had time to do. All in all, we've managed to scrape through and have been, I think, one of the luckier ones. Thank you for your time today, and hopefully the seminar has been helpful.
Welcome, Georgia. So Georgia Rose is the business manager at EnviroShop, and it's great to have you with us. I'm just going to remind people this is your chance to put your questions to Georgia. So please use the Q&A tool. It's in the top right-hand side of your screen. Click down the bottom where it says ask a question, put your question in, and then if there's other people with questions in there, you can upvote those questions to make sure that they get answered. So while the questions come in, Georgia, I noticed that you mentioned you had an increase in sales in draft sealing products.
Yes.
And certainly on cold mornings like we've just had, many people in Melbourne who are now working from home are probably feeling the chill, or they're feeling the cost of high energy bills. And I know draft sealing is something that you've done in the shop to help make your shop more comfortable, and it's certainly something many people can do at home. So could you tell us a little bit about what you've done in the shop in terms of draft sealing, and then what other businesses could do and what people could be doing at home in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a number of different products. I mean, most importantly is obviously insulation. You can also get other products like a draft stopper, which is for heat and all the cool that comes in through your fans. That's been selling, it's selling more than I can keep up, basically. It's selling like toilet paper was, I think, in the entry of COVID. But yeah, we're selling a lot of them. Just general drafting products, duck window film, which is like, it sort of imitates double glazing, but it's far cheaper and very easy to apply. So all those products have been selling extremely well.
And Georgia, I know when you walk in the EnviroShop, you've got some excellent draft sealing products on your doors, which inspired me, and I ended up putting some in at home. And you know, draft sealing might not seem the most sexy of things to do, but it certainly makes a difference in terms of your comfort once you're inside. Have you noticed since putting those products in place that the comfort within the shop has improved?
Yeah, I mean, they've been here longer than I have, to be honest, but I have reapplied the duck film since being here. But it's more from probably just judging by customer feedback, which we do get a lot. And the feedback's always very positive, and often people buy things just to trial it and come back for more, saying it's definitely made a huge difference. So yeah, it's a matter of finding the right thing for your situation as well, because you know, often windows are different and doors are different and the gap's different, and so yeah, I mean, we're fortunate enough to have suppliers that do a variety of products that sort of make a difference. But yeah, we've definitely applied these in the store to make a difference, and also show an example for customers to look at as well. So. Great.
We've got a question that's come through here, and it's for a small business renting their office using about $150 of electricity a month. What would you suggest in regards to solar installations, please?
Well, as far as recommendations, I don't know how much I'll be able to help you, because it actually is run separately. We do everything but solar as far as sales and being able to recommend something. We do everything but solar and solar panels. What I can tell you is, I'm trying to work out what the square foot of this would be, but maybe, you know, 8 by 5 or something. And we use a 2.2 kilowatt. And that has a 4.8 kilowatt capacity battery, sorry. So the 2.2 kilowatt of the panel, sorry, and the 4.8 kilowatt is the battery capacity. And yeah, that's so far working really well. We only installed it at the beginning of this year, I think it was. And we're so far, I'm just reading our display dashboard from Redback battery system, and currently we're sitting at about 34% of self-produced renewable energy. I do expect that to increase quite a bit in summer, Although it's a pretty clear day, you're certainly going to be using a lot more in summer as far as renewable energy. So I spoke to my boss about it yesterday, and he expects us to be using anything from about even up to 60% of renewable energy. I know that doesn't really answer your question, I apologise, but I do strongly suggest speaking to Enviro Group as to what system you may require and costing. But yeah, that's what we have, and it works well so far. It's great.
And I should say that as far as I know, EnviroShop is the first and the only business in Darebin that has solar panels and a battery system. So it's really quite remarkable. It's definitely the direction that we'll all be heading, but they are very much at the front of the pack. And it's interesting, a 2.2 kilowatt system is a pretty small system these days. So it's amazing that such a small system combined with really good energy efficiency, LED lighting, very efficient heating and cooling can actually cover over 30% of your electricity costs.
Yeah.
I've got another question that's come through. It's actually, I've got 3 questions, it says, regarding the strategies used for the shop, which has been the most and least successful? Have you considered selling your compost system for small apartment complexes and even individual homes? But last but not least, do you sell cleaning products for buyers interested in reusing containers? So the first part being the compost systems that you sell. Have you sold them to apartment complexes as well as individual homes?
I think I have once sold them to apartment complexes. But I mean, there so far hasn't been a lot of interest. I mean, fortunately, a place like that, you get to speak to a lot of people. I mean, especially being in this area, everybody's very sustainable. So there's certainly interest there. But when I talk to these types of people, I think the holdback is being able to rely on other people doing the right thing. Because, you know, often people don't know the rules and of what you can put in there and what you can't. But it's certainly something we're interested in, for sure. It's, also a matter of finding, because the ones that we have are quite big tumblers. We do have other ones, but to allow that many people to use it, you probably need something bigger like a tumbler, and having room to put that and having someone to take care of it. I guess to answer your question, it's nothing, not so much so far, but I think it would be good if we had something in place and put the feelers out to see what sort of interest there is. If you're thinking about putting, in your complex apartment, we're certainly interested and we can help you out in any way we can.
Yeah, organic waste in apartments is definitely one of the problematic things. I know City of Melbourne has done some work with apartment buildings to look at that, but there's a lot of opportunity, and I think more and more there's people living in apartments that really want to start recycling their organic waste. The next part of the question was, do you sell cleaning products for buyers interested in reusing containers?
We absolutely do. We've got quite a few here now. I would like to increase it. It's just a matter of, store space. But yeah, we've got, personal cleaning products, shampoo, conditioner, and then, general kitchen stuff, laundry. Come in and check it out. We've got quite a few options that we definitely encourage it. And we've also got bringing our own containers. So if you forget your container, we've got ones you can use here as well that are free. They're just, ones that I've, used from home mainly.
Yeah, it's great to see in Darebin there are more and more businesses now that are providing that option that you can come in with your own container and you can refill it. Obviously, COVID-19 has had a bit of a glitch on the reusable container and reusable cups, but I think as we move into the recovery phase, hopefully we can return to using those things safely. Yeah. There's another question that's come through here, and it's in regard to the energy efficiency strategies applied in the shop. Which has been the most successful and which has been the least successful?
So far the energy saving's been really successful. We've been really happy with that. And I guess also the LED lighting as well is a big difference. As far as the least successful, Well, in the 3 years I've been here, I don't think anything has been successful, to be honest. Trying to think, I'm just taking a look around here. Yeah, there's nothing that I can. I would have to get back to you on that one. I'm sure I would. I could come up with something that hasn't worked out as well as we would have liked to. But in the period that I've been here, I don't have an answer for that. But I can, talk to some of my boss and my work colleague and be able to answer that for you at a later stage.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've been on the money with choosing the right things to put in place to have a good outcome.
Yeah, we do our research. So, yeah.
As a person who has embarked on many sustainability projects in my life, most of them have been successful, but there's definitely been some that I look back and think, yes, could have done that differently, but all part of learning.
Yeah.
So another question coming in, and we've got, what indicators should we look for in cleaning products that mean it is safe for the environment? And obviously cleaning is a big thing at the moment. There's probably more cleaning happening in our built environment and in our homes and of our hands than ever before. So, yeah, I guess people are wanting a product that can do the job in terms of keeping us safe and cleaning surfaces and our hands, but also not be negative or impactful on the environment in a negative way.
Yeah. I mean, generally the more basic the better. You don't want things, things with sulfates in there, just as natural as you can get, which still isn't always easy. And then trying to, avoid things with palm oil, just as an ethical standpoint. But, I think just try and stick to, natural products, things that are grey water safe is a good question to ask, because that means it's obviously going to have very little impact on the environment. They're the things that I sort of look out for. And if it's got too many ingredients in it, I'm not interested. It needs to be pretty simple.
Yeah. I know as a consumer, it can often be overwhelming when you're looking for a product and you want to choose a good one. And I have personally found that the EnviroShop is a great place to go for someone else to do the research for me. And then I can come and say, okay, what do you think about this product? Or just see the products you've chosen to select, because it can be quite time consuming to work out exactly what's in every product and how it really does rate in terms of its environmental performance.
Yeah, and those names aren't easy to pronounce, or where they come from. You do have to do your research, and once again, as an ethical standpoint, if you try and avoid palm oil, that's got over a dozen different names it hides behind. So it takes a bit of time, and not everybody has that time, and you just want it to be simple and be ethical and sustainable, and that's not always easy,
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Georgia. Thanks for sharing your presentation, coming in for or participating for some questions. And once again, congratulations on being, as far as I know, the very first business in Darebin to have solar and a battery backup and to actually be able to operate off-grid. Your option there, which enables you to be on-grid and be off-grid, is really flexible and adaptable. And I like how you talked about in your presentation with the growing impacts of our climate emergency and climate change. Our adaptation is going to be requiring us to be able to have that flexibility and adaptability. And certainly during COVID-19, it's something that everyone has had to learn new strategies and approaches to adapt and be flexible. So I think it bodes well for our ability to be able to do it. And it's great that the EnviroShop has definitely been putting those actions in place in regard to sustainability. So well done. I hope in the future I'm able to congratulate many more businesses that also have solar and batteries and have introduced that level of opportunity, flexibility, adaptability and resilience into their energy supply. Okay, well, thank you very much, Georgia.
You're welcome.
And just to let people know, Georgia is in the EnviroShop. It's just near the Uniting Church in Northcote. And if you have questions, she's really chatty. She'll be very happy to answer them. So please go in, have a look. There's a range of really good products to help you both make your business and your home more sustainable. And there's some great advice and resources. And they have done a lot of the research that I mentioned can really be quite tiresome or difficult for the lay person to do. So thank you, Georgia.
You're welcome. Thanks. See you later.
Okay, we're going to move on now to Charles Sanford. So we're going to have a short video, and in this video, Charlie's going to talk about some of the things that he's been doing in his business to make it more sustainable. And following on from that, we're going to be hearing from Charlie. So please, while the video is playing, remember, put your questions in the Q&A section. And if there's other questions in there that people are asking that you think really should be asked of Charlie, please upvote them. And we'll move on now to Charlie's video. Thank you.
I'm Charlie Sanford, and I run this show called Charles Sanford Wood Turning and Joinery, which also incorporates McKay Joinery. We've got probably 25 to 30 people working here at any one time. We do a lot of heritage stuff and a lot of modern designer stuff as well. Pretty well we can do anything in the woodwork department. I believe in sustainability, and I believe that climate change is real. I've got a lot to thank the Darebin Council for, because they made me aware of the Green Light program. I got to meet a lot of other local businesses who are similarly minded. We've gone on to put solar power on our roof, so that immediately reduced our energy costs by a third. We're looking to actually put more on, because energy prices have gone up and probably will continue to go up. LED lights, we changed all of those, and they've been terrific. You know, they've cut our energy costs dramatically, and also they work better. We put controllable baffles on our dust extractors so that the dust extractor can sense the back pressure and then ramps up or down as the dust vents are opened, and the savings, you know, are palpable. The other thing that came out of the Green Light program was reducing our waste. All our wood shavings, most of it would go to landfill. But since then we've been able to get in contact with a sawdust place called Pollard's. They come and pick it up and they recycle it to gardeners and pipe layers and that sort of thing. Similarly with our timber offcuts, we don't put any of that to landfill anymore. We even reuse cardboard for packing. Wherever we can, we save every box. One of the businesses we met through the Green Light program was Mocopan Coffee, and they get rid of a lot of Hessian bags, so we use those for packing, and it saves bubble wrap or plastic foam. I believe that we should be reducing our impact on the environment, but the benefits are economic as well, so it makes great economic sense, because for every dollar you save on waste or on energy, that's $10 you don't have to earn. Just don't waste anything. I think it's a good philosophy all around. The world needs more of it.
Great. Well, I'd like to welcome Charlie now on screen. Hello, Charlie.
Hey, Emma.
Great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
I started working with you, Charlie, quite a while ago now, and I remember the first time I met you, you were not sure whether Darebin Council was going to be able to help you in your sustainability journey, but you've gone on to participate in so many of our programs, and you've really emerged as one of our amazing leaders. So it's been a great journey for me, and really interesting one too.
Likewise, Emma, it's been a really good journey. The little steps we make when you turn around and look back, you know, add up to a lot of things and a lot of cost savings, you know.
Yeah, which I think is really relevant at a time like this for businesses that are many of whom are struggling at the moment. And I love your saying, for every dollar that you save on your energy and waste, that's $10 you don't have to earn. I think that's a great thing to remember. So I'm just going to remind people, this is your chance to put your questions to Charlie. I luckily get to speak to Charlie reasonably often and ask him many questions. So please use the Q&A function, put your questions in and I can direct them to Charlie. But while the questions come in, Charlie, that video was made in 2018 and I know you've gone on to do many other things actually since then. And one of the things I've been really excited by what you've done is your switch to 100% renewable energy, and that's through your contract with Flow Power. Could you just share with us a little bit about how you did that, how it's worked out for you and how it's been?
Well, when our contract came up for renewal, we got in contact with John Fetz, who I met through you. Thanks, Emma. And he's a kind of a broker. And so if you want to make big savings on electricity bills and you have industrial sort of usage, then you can get a pretty good deal through Flow Energy. If you're prepared to commit to, a long-term contract with them, you can get really good deals, and it's 100% renewable, as you say. So it's a bit of mucking around to set it all up, but there are brokers like John Fetz, for example, who I used, who is familiar with all those complexities and can do it for you. And that's a path we took, and we're glad we did. And I just did a bit of research because I thought you might ask me this. And if you want to look up the financial review on March the 20th, 2019, there's an article by Angela McDonald-Smith that takes you through all those benefits that I just described then. So for those of you who are interested in, 100% renewable power and cheap energy, check out that article, March the 20th, 2019, in the Financial Review. Angela McDonald-Smith.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, Charlie, that in the past we've often felt that, doing the better thing, for want of a better word, by the environment would or could incur a cost. And it's really interesting in the energy market now, we're seeing companies like Flow Power, and there are a number of them in this space, which are actually offering a cheaper energy rate than you're currently paying through your more traditional energy retailers. And they're offering that as well as offering you 100% renewable energy. And so for some businesses who may not be in the position to put on solar, or they already have solar and they're still going to be drawing from the grid, it's a really fantastic option for sourcing 100% renewable energy and not having any financial cost to that. In fact, having a financial gain. So it's an emerging market that's really starting to open up, and there's great opportunity in there. I might ask you, Charlie, all businesses obviously have been affected by COVID-19, and I'd be interested to hear how your business has been affected, what kind of adaptations you've needed to make, and what kind of changes you've had to put in place.
Well, we were severely affected in March and April and May, and we've just noticed a spike recently, but we haven't laid anyone off as yet, but we're on the JobKeeper program, which is, helping us stay viable. We've been doing a lot of housekeeping work just to keep people occupied while there hasn't been paid work available. But at the moment, we're doing all paid work. So it's, as I said, there's been a little spike in work recently, but it has been tough times. First thing we noticed was the quoting dried up, which is always, a bad sign because it affects the pipeline. And, but, we've had our ups and downs over the years. This is a pretty savage one. But, we think we'll pull through. I'm optimistic anyway.
Yeah, and do you feel that the investments that you have made in terms of solar and energy efficiency, which has really reduced your costs, as you shared in the video, do you think that's left you in a more resilient position for things like COVID-19 happening?
Well, certainly power bills not as high as it would have been otherwise. Which we pay probably between 15 and 20 grand a year in power, and it would have been 25 to 30% higher.
Yeah.
So those dollars, when things are tight, those dollars are important. That all adds up. Similarly with our waste savings, we spend probably 16 grand a year on garbage disposal, and so anything that we can possibly not dispose of, we do, even if it costs us time. We go to the trouble because it's kind of a principle thing with me. I just don't like wasting anything, especially if it's part of a tree, because they're
beautiful things
compared to the population that wants it. So
yeah. We've got a couple of questions, Charlie, that have come through. We've got someone that wants to work there for you. You're taking on apprenticeships.
Well, look, we're always looking for people because people are our most valuable resource. There's if you're truly interested, I'm always willing to speak to people who are serious about it. Whether I can offer them a job is another thing. At the moment is not a good time, but we might be just one job away from needing some more apprentices.
Great.
We're always looking, a lot of us are getting old in the tooth, so we want to bring through new talent all the time. So, come down and see me if you seriously want to work in the field.
Great. And we've got, continuing on from that, have you noticed a difference in the marketability of your business thanks to your sustainable journey? So that's basically, I'm guessing, have you got people coming to you and choosing you because of what you're doing in the sustainability field? I can say I've been a customer of you, Care of That, Charlie.
Yeah, look, I think it has. I wouldn't know how to quantify it, and it's not something I can measure, and it's not really the reason why I do it in any case. I do it out of probably. Well, it makes good business sense because there are cost savings, but I do it really from a environmental point of view. I don't want to. I want to leave as small a footprint as I can. So it's a combination of both those reasons: cost savings and principle. And
another question being regarding the timber and wood products that you use as raw products, do you source those from sustainable sources as well?
Well, yeah, we don't buy any dodgy timber. We buy from reputable timber yards that have PEFC, which is a local sort of standard, which means it comes from accredited forestry, or FSC from overseas European sources. We encourage the use of recycled timber wherever we can. We can't always control what we make things out of because we're a bespoke maker. So sometimes it's out of our hands. We use a lot of reclaimed log. So we do some kind of rustic things like we make some sculptural things out of logs, and they're all reclaimed from parks and gardens and farms, windbreaks, that sort of thing. So we go through a lot of that in a year. That timber would otherwise go to landfill or be burned. But like I say, we're a bespoke organisation. We use a lot of American timbers because they're popular at the moment with interior decorators and designers, but that's all it's not FSC, but it's all sustainably forested stuff.
Thanks, Charlie. And our last question is, Are you part of an industrial park? And if so, do you have neighbours that you can share resources and waste with?
No, we're not part of a park. I don't, our neighbours aren't sort of compatible in that way, I guess.
Yeah, I guess whilst that may not be the case, you certainly have built some what we would term industrial ecology partnerships or circular economy connections with other businesses in Darebin. Mocopan you mentioned as one in the video where you get their Hessian bags, and Pollard's is obviously another one. They're not a Darebin business that's taking your wood shavings. So there are those connections that you're forming, which places you in the circular economy, which is the place we all want to be heading and all want to be sitting in. Yeah. Great. Well, that's our questions for you, Charlie. Thank you so much for your time. And more importantly, thanks for all the great work that you're doing and all the inspiring actions that you're taking.
Well, thanks to the council too, because it's it's led me down a path I'm glad I took. And I'm about to put more solar on the roof, so we're getting up to about the maximum, somewhere near 100 kilowatts. That's coming up shortly, so I can't wait for that to happen.
I'll be looking forward to it too, Charlie. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, well, thank you, Charlie, and thank you to all our speakers. I'm just going to do a quick run through now of some of our Darebin programs, and in particular our Light Smart program. So we've been plugging this a little bit today, and that's because lighting typically accounts for 40% of a business's electricity bill. And I know so many businesses at the moment are struggling with their costs. Their businesses dropped. They don't have the same number of products leaving their door, or they don't have the same number of people demanding their services. And so whatever we can do to help you reduce your costs, as well as the co-benefit of really helping address our climate emergency and helping to reduce your CO2 emissions going into the atmosphere, is the space and place we want to be in. Our Light Smart program has been operating for a number of years. We've had over 250 businesses already upgrade their lights through it. At the moment, it's free to most businesses in Darebin, so there's sort of nothing to lose out of it. In most cases, businesses not only get that energy saving, but they're actually really impressed and pleased with the quality of lighting. So they actually feel there's an improvement in lighting. And for most businesses, the saving is around $420 a year on their electricity bill. So that's not to be sneezed at. And as Charlie said, for every dollar saved, that's $10 you don't have to earn. So if you haven't upgraded your lights yet and you are watching this and participating in today's webinar, please send us an email at business@darebin.vic.gov.au, put Light Smart in the subject heading, and we'll get in touch with you to help that upgrade happen. The other thing that I wanted to tell you about was we've heard from Charlie and we've heard from some of our other businesses today. We have a range of videos that we have produced on our sustainable business leaders, or some of these leaders, and we would love you to watch those if you're interested in finding out more and hearing more of their stories. You can access these from our Sustainable Business playlist. It's on the City of Darebin YouTube page, and this is also the place where these webinars will be recorded. We'll also have them up on our Darebin Big Market channel, but Sustainable Business playlist, where you can go to watch the videos of our 10 Sustainable Business Leader videos that we've got, to watch these YouTubes, and to pass on those links to others who might be interested in it. And I'd also like people to think about, we're in a COVID-19, hopefully moving into the recovery phase now as restrictions start to ease, but there's such enormous opportunity in terms of energy efficiency and solar, and it's an opportunity that still largely remains untapped. So please, on this World Environment Day, if there's one thing you think of, think about how you can be reducing your bills, how you can be reducing your CO2 emissions, and how you can be reducing your energy or switching your energy to renewable energy. I'd like also to, again, thank the state government for sponsoring these webinars. They've been very generous in their sponsorship this year. And I'd also like to remind you that this is the first of our 3 Sustainability Matters webinars. So we've got 2 others coming up. We've got one next week on Thursday, the 11th of June, and one the following week on Thursday, the 18th of June. And at those, we'll be hearing from Chris Ennis from Series Fair Food, Fair Wood, and Mahara Sobral from the Bridge Darebin. She's the coordinator of the Moon Rabbit Bulk Foods Collective. And then on the 18th, we'll be hearing from Stephen Webster from Integrated Recycling and Hirini Paris from the Northcote Bake Shop, and also the founder of the Darebin Zero Waste Network. So if you haven't already registered and you'd like to attend, please go to darebin.vic.gov.au/sustainable business to register for these webinars. And then two last things, not to forget, it's World Environment Day. So please take a moment to stop, to think about all the wonderful things that our environment offers us and all the wonderful things that we enjoy and love about it. And lastly, thank you so much for being with us today. And we don't want you to leave yet. We would love to hear your feedback. So we've got a feedback form that will pop up in a moment when this webinar ends. Please fill it in. As an incentive to encourage you to fill it in, we've got a $100 voucher to the Enviro Shop that will be up for grabs. So that will be a randomly drawn gift for all those people that complete the feedback survey. Thanks once again. Thank you to our speakers. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day, World Environment Day, and we'll look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Thank you.